Welcome, my name is Jeremy, and I have over 20 years of bartending experience, in which I've worked at every kind of bar, from hole-in-the-wall to fancy smancy. I've created this content to help the home bartender reach a higher level of mixology and understand the art and science behind it. Today we are going to make everyone's go-to when they want to just stay up even later to party, the Espresso-Tini. You've probably had this drink a few different ways. I mean, there's lots of different versions. But today we're going to make the base cocktail, and then we're going to build on it. So let's get into it, shall we? All right, before we can get into the actual mixing of the drink, we need to talk about the garnish for a moment. For an Espresso-Tini, the garnish is generally a lemon twist. I've seen lots of different kinds of garnishes for this, coffee beans, cherries. None of them are wrong, all right? It's your drink. You make it the way you want to make it, but traditionally it is a lemon twist. If you were to get an espresso in Italy, typically they put a little lemon twist right next to your cup of espresso. So let's talk about a few different ways you can do a lemon twist. So at your very basic bars, your hole in the walls, you're going to cut off both sides of the lemon, and you're going to be left with this piece right here, and you're just going to roll it a little bit in your palm. You're going to get, or on the counter here, you're just going to get it loose. You're going to try to get that rind a little loose. Just like that. And then what you're going to do is you're going to make a little bit of a slit with your knife very carefully. And you're going to try to get it between the rind and the actual flesh. So in the white part between the yellow and the flesh. You're going to take your spoon. You're going to put it in that mark that you just made. And you're going to try to work it in there in between. All right? And then you're just going to do that very carefully. You're going to try to work your way across. See, now you're all the way across? And then you're just going to work that all the way around the lemon. Now, at those types of bars, you're going to make a ton of them in the morning, and they're going to chill out, you know, just waiting to be used. It's made for fast service, you know, and typically in a lot of those kinds of bars, you may not even have Espresso-Tinis, but the ones that do, that's pretty much how they do it, all right? And so once you've done that, you just cut a little slit across, and you have yourself a lemon peel, okay? So let's go over the two different ways. So this method actually implores a couple, it could be fancy or it could be hole in the wall. The way it would be fancy is if you went long way with the lemon and you went down the length of it like this, and then you have yourself literally a nice little pigtail here, I call it a pigtail, to make a twist, just like that. But most bars, what they'll do is instead, they'll cut it this way because they can make a whole bunch with one lemon, and then they're just gonna, right before they throw it into your drink, they're gonna twist it and drop it. That's all they're gonna do. All right, so the third method, or the third way, that is typically done is with a peeler, and they're just going to very crudely, but you see this at very high-end cocktails, and I actually love this method because I think you get more of the oil of the lemon. I don't know why, but you just take your peeler and you peel off a strip like that. And then typically what you'll do is if there's a candle over the drink, you'll twist it, and because of the oil, it will burn and crackle. And then you'll throw it in the drink, or you'll just twist it and throw it into the drink. So those really right there are the three different ways that you can make twist. You have your fancy twist, hole-in-the-wall twist. So let's get on to making the actual drink. 1 is the loneliest number that you'll ever do. Un caffè means 1 shot of espresso. You go to Italy, typically it's served in something like this with a little lemon twist on the side, hence our garnish. Typically in Italy, they wipe it around the rim and then dip it right into the espresso. But what goes into an Espresso-Tini? Well, obviously, espresso. So in this case, we're doing 1 shot, and then we're going to add to that shot with Kahlúa, okay? Now you can also use Van Gogh or any other coffee liqueur, but there generally is a coffee liqueur in an Espresso-Tini. It's not generally all espresso. Usually comes out a little too bitter if you used all espresso. You need something that gives you a little bit more of a sweet angle to it. So that's where the mixture is. However, I would not make an Espresso-Tini with just Kahlúa or just Van Gogh or some other coffee liqueur. That just, to me, that's not really an Espresso-Tini. So the next, what you're going to see at most places, they're going to use a vanilla vodka. So you have vanilla vodka, Kahlúa, and espresso. And that's it. It's a 3-ingredient drink. Sorry about that. What I like to do is use a higher end vodka. Like this is a local vodka. It's called Stateside. And the thing about local distilleries is they're able to give you a product generally that's a little bit better than even the Grey Goose or, you know, whatever kind of vodka you're talking about that's mainstream. Chances are they're trying to make a profit, so they're not giving you the best stuff. Usually your local distiller is, though. So, but with that regular vodka, I like to flavor it. And in this case, I'm going to add the vanilla with this flavoring that you typically see used in coffee. This is French vanilla. And then I'm going to enhance that even further with a little bit of salted caramel. But just to stick with our base, this would be your base right here. And our elevation would be this. So base, elevation. So of course we're going to make the elevated version, but I'm going to stop at a moment where we would normally have our base. So let me clear this away here so that we can concentrate on what we're doing first. And first comes ice. Now where's that ice going to go? If you think it's going in here, you're right, but not yet. The first thing you do when you make a cocktail is you put ice into the cocktail glass that you're using. In this case, we're using a martini glass for this cocktail. We just put a little water in there. And this little guy's just going to hang out and chill while we make the rest of our drink. By the time we're done making the drink, it's going to be frosted and ready to go. So now is when we put ice in our mixing glass. All right, so we got full cup of ice. You always want to go with a full cup of ice. Alcohol melts ice at an accelerated rate. So in order to keep it cold, we always use a full cup of ice. They're not cheating you when they give you a rum and coke when it's loaded with ice. It actually, you taste more of the rum when it's loaded with ice. They have to fill it up with more soda when it's not. That soda will then water out your alcohol. So we're going to stick with our main ingredient first, which is the vodka. I mean, besides the espresso. But the main spirit is vodka in this case. So we're going to do 1 ounce of vodka. And that's 1 ounce right there. And we're going to do 2 ounces of the coffee liqueur or the Kahlúa. All right. So those are those 2. And then next, what you would normally do if you were doing the base, this is where I'm stopping and talking about the base, is you would just add the espresso. And then your drink would be finished. You would shake it and then put it into your drink. But since we're elevating it, we're going to take out our 2 flavorings here. And I like a good caramel taste. So I think I'm going to go with 1 shot of caramel and 2 pumps or 2 shots of the French vanilla. Okay, put those back. And now we take our espresso and we pour that in. All right, let me just put this to the side here. And now we'll move this over here for a second. So I'm just going to show you how chilled this got in just that a little bit of an amount of time. See how nice and chilled that is? It's beautiful. However, I generally like to keep a glass in the freezer ready to go. Gives you a little bit more bang for your buck than the other method. But in most places, that's what they're going to do for you, sorry. But believe it or not, a lot of places skip that step and you don't wind up with a chilled glass. So now we're just going to shake it. How we do that is we take our large mixing cup, we put it over our 16-ounce or pint glass, also called a mixing glass, and we're just going to shake it. I'm going to continue to shake this pup. I don't want my hand to freeze off this copper tin or brass tin or whatever it's made of. And you see people shake it all kinds of ways. They try to be all fancy. But really, see how much travel I'm getting with that? It's better than, you know, you see the up and down tilt. All right, now that is nice and cold. It's just as frosty as that. Now, at this point, how do I get the glass off? It's stuck. You just slap it. It gets nice and loose. You can either use a filter to pour this. Once you perfected the method, though, you're just going to pour it in like this. All right, and there it is, our Espresso-Tini. So now we got to choose which garnish we want. Do you want the hole in the wall, the fancy, or the handcrafted cocktail? I really like the idea of this type of garnish in the drink. Doesn't that look pretty? Slipped in there a little bit. There we go. And that is our Espresso-Tini right there. Looks pretty good to me. I love the amount of foam that's on top of it, just like our original espresso had a little bit of foam on top of it. Looks delicious. We should give it a try, shouldn't we? Or should I? And I think I shall. Bottoms up, cheers, salute, whatever you like to say it. I'm gonna have a sip. Oh man, that's good. I'll tell you what, man. I'll tell you what, use the vanilla vodka, you're gonna be fine. But if you can get any kind of like caramel flavoring in there, you're just gonna elevate this drink to the extreme. I'm telling you right now, this is fantastic. That little caramel edge, I'm just gonna go ahead and put my garnish all the way in. Man, that is good. That's really, really good. Well, I hope that you've enjoyed this episode on the Espresso-Tini, as I have enjoyed making it for you. If you like these videos, please like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for tuning in.